From lightning tearing through the skies to explosions shaking the ground, these aren't just shocking moments. This is where chaos becomes unstoppable. Fire, fury, and the unexpected all collide right here. Welcome to LumberPro channel. A sudden fire broke out in the middle of the street, engulfing several supermarket stalls in intense flames. Thick black smoke filled the air, making visibility difficult. Police and firefighters arrived quickly, but the blaze remained hard to control.
If those PDs are going to be in trouble as far as that real war goes, okay? Command to all units, I want everybody off the sidewalk on both the 1 and 4 side of the building. Operate from the curb. Everybody off the sidewalk. President, be sure for the charge that one.
О, смотри, идет сюда.
The explosion lit up the sky in an instant, casting a blinding flash across the night. Even from hundreds of meters away, the deafening blast echoed powerfully through the air. Flames erupted violently, followed by thick black smoke billowing straight into the sky, a haunting and dangerous spectacle.
Я думаю, что пора, парни,
A home security camera captured a massive explosion tearing everything apart.
Lightning struck 2 moving cars on the road, producing a terrifying explosion, with brilliant flashes tearing through the darkened sky. A massive bolt of lightning struck the Maca clock tower, creating a breathtaking and terrifying spectacle. Blinding streaks tore through the night sky like fiery blades, followed by thunder that rumbled and echoed for seconds, as if the heavens themselves were roaring. The city held its breath, gripped by the sheer force of nature's fury.
Didn't like it really.
A car caught fire fiercely on the road, with firefighters quickly arriving to extinguish the flames while police managed traffic around the scene. Although the fire was brought under control, the vehicle was completely burned, leaving only a charred frame behind. A terrifying explosion lit up the sky like a giant fireball erupting out of nowhere, blasting everything in its path. The shockwave shook the ground, sending people fleeing in all directions. Screams echoed through the chaos as panic gripped the scene. It happened in mere seconds, but the horror it left behind will be remembered for a long time. A quiet afternoon in Parlier turned into a scene of fire and fear. Out of nowhere, flames erupted in a residential neighborhood, consuming trees in a matter of seconds. Leaves ignited like firecrackers under the summer sun. The blaze quickly spread to the roof and porch of a nearby home. Thick columns of black smoke rose skyward, visible from blocks away. The crackling of fire echoed as terrified residents fled their homes, clutching belongings and hope. Firefighters arrived swiftly, battling the flames amid suffocating heat and smoke. This wasn't just a fire, it was a fight for survival, a split-second shift from calm to chaos. Branches fell, roofing collapsed, and an entire street stood frozen under falling ash. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, but the haunting image of a home nearly lost will stay with this community for a long time.
Ah, del otro lado de la calle. Are you guys anywhere inside of the house? Ah, okay. Okay. Estoy acá.
Acá atrás.
Estoy en la carretera, güey. Acá.
Get the people back. We'll be back this way.
A thunderous explosion erupted in an open field, like a moment of sheer destruction unleashed upon the earth. The powerful shockwave rippled through the ground, hurling dust and debris into the air.
We are here at the auto center.
A raging inferno erupts in Ventura. In a flash,
California,
the flames spread like
where
a
it is
storm,
believed that a
devouring
homeless
everything
person
in their path.
lit this
Thick black
blaze
smoke rises,
a
choking
couple
the
of hours
sky,
ago,
plunging the neighborhood into
and it has
chaos.
grown to 10
Fire
to
crews
15
rush in
acres,
urgently, battling
and
the
is
blaze
now
to
brushing
prevent
up
it from
against the
reaching
side of a
nearby
golf
buildings.
course.
A breathless fight
Helicopters
between
are
man and
frantically
fire, where every
trying
second
to get it
counts.
under control, but it is windy out here. As you can see, this brush is very dry. It is very windy.
Absolutely jaw-dropping. This is large-scale industrial rock blasting in action. Precisely timed explosions detonate in sequence, shattering massive rock formations like the Earth itself is cracking open. Thunderous blasts echo as debris flies through the air, and dense clouds of dust engulf the entire area. It's controlled chaos, a raw, explosive force reshaping the landscape before your eyes. A massive fire has broken out at a storage yard and is spreading at an alarming rate. The fierce flames are devouring everything in their path, swallowing the entire site within moments. Thick black smoke billows into the sky, cloaking the area in a choking haze. Against the darkness of night, the intense red glow of the fire casts a terrifying, haunting scene, like a nightmare unfolding in real life. According to reports, a massive fire and explosion erupted at an oil factory in Chennai. The blaze raged uncontrollably, sending thick black smoke billowing into the sky and blanketing the entire area. The scale of the fire was so overwhelming that extinguishing it quickly. A boat had just docked when it suddenly erupted into flames, with fire surging violently across its deck. Thick black smoke rose tens of meters into the sky, blanketing the shoreline in a dense, choking haze. The vessel suffered severe damage, its charred frame collapsing piece by piece. On the shore, several people scrambled desperately, trying to put out the fire, but the intense heat and ferocity of the blaze made their efforts nearly impossible. A racing car was carefully being loaded onto a tow truck, ready to be taken for repairs after a malfunction. Suddenly, its engine catastrophically failed and exploded with a deafening blast. The explosion shook the entire area, sending bystanders into a panic as they scattered in all directions. Thick smoke and flames rose high, leaving behind a chaotic and tragic scene, especially heartbreaking because it was a powerful supercar, a symbol of speed and strength.
As we can tell, Charger exploded, and when it launched the turbine wheel out, it blew the elbow off of it. It went back, hit the cold side just above the air intake, which aspirated the engine. Then there was nothing stopping it, and all the shutoffs would have failed. It continued backwards, hit the breather filter, sheared that off, and shattered the windshield. It just ran away on its own oil after that. There was no way we could stop it.
I saw the driver got out pretty quickly.
A massive and terrifying fire broke out, engulfing and destroying everything in its path. The flames erupted with intense fury, accompanied by thick, black smoke billowing high into the sky, blanketing the entire horizon. A powerful explosion erupted, sending shockwaves through the area and destroying everything nearby. Debris flew in all directions as chaos unfolded in seconds.
Fire in the hole!
The explosion appeared to be anticipated, with barricades set up and all residents evacuated safely away from the house. Dozens of homes were forced to evacuate in Utah as a massive wildfire spread rapidly across the region. The landscape glowed in an intense, fiery red, consumed by the searing heat of the flames. Towering plumes of smoke filled the sky as the fire devoured everything in its path. Residents fled in haste, leaving behind a scene that looked like something out of the apocalypse.
Ой, блядь, да скорее же вы, господи! Марина, я это снимала, представляешь?
Massive explosion rocks the area. In Primorsky Krai, Russia, a major fire broke out, quickly followed by a powerful explosion that shook the surroundings. Thick black smoke billowed into the sky as the flames continued to rage. The cause is still unknown, but the intensity of the incident sent residents fleeing in panic.
Ой, это тетя Полина-то лазит, как бахнет, блядь, там на нее лазит. Еще одна, ага.
Миша,
да убирайте вы машины, да елки-палки.
Убирайте, тетя Галя, отойдите, убирайте.
Убирайте машину, вы чё?
Чья вот эта машина, убрать? Тетя Галь.
Чего они не забирают бабушку-то, а? Она ж там.
Там уже к вашему гаражу.
House engulfed in towering flames. A massive fire rages, with intense red flames consuming the entire home, heat radiating in every direction. Through the thick smoke and blazing inferno, a firefighter emerges, bravely battling the flames in the face of choking heat and overwhelming danger. A routine afternoon at Houston Airport was shattered in seconds by a terrifying moment. A twin-engine jet veered off the runway during takeoff. In an instant, it barreled past safety limits and burst into flames. Fire engulfed the fuselage, thick black smoke rising high into the air, signaling what could have been a devastating tragedy. But against all odds, all 10 people on board, including crew and passengers, made it out safely and without injury. Fire crews rushed in, battling the intense blaze to contain it. Survivors, some wrapped in blankets and visibly shaken, were led away from danger, alive, and incredibly unharmed. This was an accident where mere seconds made a difference. A powerful reminder that in thousands of daily flights, the line between survival and catastrophe can be heartbreakingly thin. The thunderous explosions from wartime bombings tear through the sky, unleashing terrifying scenes of fire, thick black smoke, and trembling ground. War is brutal and merciless. Though filmed from a distance, the fire reveals a severity that cannot be ignored. Thick white-gray smoke billows relentlessly into the sky, forming a dense, smothering curtain that blankets the area above. Strong winds carry the smoke outward, reducing visibility and choking the air. Flickers of red flames are still visible through the haze, glowing ominously. A dangerous moment just meters from a passenger jet. At Heathrow Airport, a ground service vehicle suddenly catches fire near a British Airways A320. Flames engulf the vehicle's cabin, sending up a thick column of black smoke right in the middle of the tarmac, forcing all operations nearby to halt immediately. Thick black smoke billowed high into the sky, carried by strong winds for over 100 meters, blanketing a vast area. The scene was both suffocating and haunting, reflecting the sheer intensity of the blaze. The power lines right in front of the house caught fire fiercely, with wires sparking and crackling explosively, creating an extremely dangerous and tense scene. The flames spread rapidly, threatening the safety.
Oh my God!
A sudden lightning strike triggered a deafening explosion in the blink of an eye, a sound so powerful it seemed to tear the sky apart. When nature unleashes its fury, the spectacle is both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a chilling reminder of forces far beyond human control. Flames soared high, with thick black smoke curling densely into the air. The blaze continued to rage uncontrollably, putting the nearby buildings at serious risk, threatening to spread at any moment.
¡Mierda! 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 Marico, la bola de humo y de fuego que te caga.
¡La concha de la lora! ¡Pero déjame grabar! Mira, escúchame. ¡Estoy grabando algo!
Quédate quieta.
আগুন ধরে গিয়েছে দেখো এই সাইডটা দেখো এই দেখো দেখো
A massive explosion suddenly occurred on the banks of the Ganges River in Nahati, shaking the entire area. The thunderous blast shattered the river's calm, with flames and thick smoke rising violently into the air, sending nearby residents fleeing in fear. The scene turned chaotic, and the cause of the explosion is still under investigation. The flames erupted violently, spreading over a wide area as thick black smoke billowed high into the sky. At least 2 to 3 fire trucks rushed to the scene, blasting water cannons in an attempt to control the blaze. However, the fire remained fierce and unrelenting, showing no signs of slowing down, creating a tense and terrifying scene.
Вот смотрите, какой пожар. А тут уже склады вот рядом. А вот мост, по которому мы едем. Смотрите, какой пожар. А вот здание дома.
Before the fire broke out, local residents reported hearing a loud explosion. Moments later, a fierce blaze erupted, with flames spreading rapidly and thick black smoke rising high and forcefully into the air. The terrifying scene sent shockwaves through the neighborhood as people watched the devastating power of the fire unfold.
Все бегут. Смотрите, все бегут. Да. И едут. Смотрите, сколько машин. Здесь страшно находиться. Очень страшно. Здесь вообще просто. Надо бежать отсюда. Милиция приехала. А вон бензовозы стоят. И на территории тоже стоят. Полным-полно. Здесь жарко становится.
This is the terrifying scene when a powerful lightning strike hits an electric fence, unleashing a deafening explosion that shakes the surrounding air like thunder. The explosive roar sends waves of panic through a flock of animals, who scatter wildly, screaming in sheer terror. Sparks and smoke erupt from the impact point, turning the area into a chaotic and dangerous spectacle. For a brief moment, everything freezes, then chaos and fear spread rapidly across the scene. A powerful explosion rocked a chemical plant in the city of Shahizi, followed by a massive fire that engulfed the area. Thick black smoke billowed high into the sky, visible from miles away. From a safe distance, bystanders watched in horror as the flames raged uncontrollably. Many were visibly shaken, overwhelmed by the sheer scale and ferocity of the Inferno. The flames blazed fiercely, shooting high into the night sky, with thick black smoke blanketing the horizon. The nighttime fire proved even harder to control, harboring immense danger. It appears this was an explosion caused by a severe accident. The deafening blast sent shockwaves through the neighborhood, triggering a wave of panic as people fled in terror. Thick white smoke billowed upward, forming a towering plume that pierced the sky, evidence that the explosion was anything but minor. Even from a distance, the scene resembled a battlefield erupting in the midst of the city.
No sé, pegó con las personas. Mi auto está ahí. Mi auto estaba ahí. Sí. Y todo lo de la bodega. Y mi computador. Y todo lo que trasladamos no se ve.
At first, the footage shows a quiet view of trees across the street. Then suddenly, a blinding flash erupts. A massive fire erupted right on the busy street, with roaring flames glowing bright red and thick black smoke billowing into the sky. Cameras captured the scene from multiple angles, highlighting every fierce flicker and flying spark. Crowds of curious onlookers stood at a distance, their eyes fixed on the blaze, mixed with both fascination and concern, while the sound of whispers and fire truck sirens added to the intense atmosphere. Something suddenly exploded with immense force, shattering everything around it in an instant. The deafening blast tore through the air, sending debris flying in all directions, and the car was engulfed in flames and suddenly exploded. Surprisingly, the woman nearby seemed rather intrigued as she watched the dramatic scene unfold. Large explosions followed the Israeli airstrike targeting the Houthis. A massive fire rages, fierce orange flames devour an industrial area. Suddenly, a powerful explosion erupts, launching debris skyward and shaking the air. The fire intensifies, casting a fiery glow through thick, choking smoke. The person filming stumbles back in shock. A large fire broke out beside the road, right at the forest edge. Bright flames spread quickly through dry grass and trees, with thick black smoke billowing high. Strong winds fanned the fierce flames, creating a chaotic and dangerous scene that frightened. Aerial footage captures the terrifying moment a massive blaze erupts, spewing hundreds of fiery sparks into the air like a storm of glowing embers. A strong gust from below appears to fuel the flames, propelling them high into the sky. The entire scene is both mesmerizing and horrifying, as the Inferno engulfs the area in a sea of red-hot fire.
A vehicle collision on the road triggered a massive fire, with flames roaring fiercely as if consuming everything in their path.
3 vehicles appeared to be slowly drifting into the jaws of the blaze, powerless against the raging fire and unable to escape. A small flame sparked a big explosion, but luckily, no damage occurred. Unidentified individuals set fire to a cargo truck in the Landy area. The front of the vehicle is engulfed in intense flames and remains out of control, with thick black smoke billowing into the air. The damage is reported to be extensive, making the situation increasingly serious and chaotic. A building in Poznan, Poland, erupted into flames after a massive explosion in the basement. The fire spread rapidly, engulfing the structure in a terrifying blaze. Thick black smoke poured into the sky, covering the neighborhood in a dark, suffocating haze. The scene quickly turned chaotic as numerous fire trucks and police vehicles arrived on site, racing to contain the fire and evacuate residents amid growing panic and confusion. A vehicle transporting oxygen tanks suddenly caught fire in the middle of the street, triggering a series of violent explosions that shook the entire area. The flames erupted with intense force, engulfing the truck within moments. Thick black smoke billowed high into the sky, blanketing the road and drastically reducing visibility. Surrounding homes and vehicles are at serious risk as the fire threatens to spread. The scene descended into chaos, with sirens wailing and emergency crews rushing to contain the inferno before it causes further destruction. A terrifying crash and a miraculous escape. In a brutal race, Romain Grosjean's car lost control after a collision, slamming into the barrier and bursting into flames. A terrifying explosion suddenly erupted, launching everything into the air. Vehicles, people, everything was caught in a violent storm of destruction, leaving behind significant losses. The blast occurred right in the heart of a bustling street, where smoke and dust filled the sky, turning it a dark, ominous gray. Chaos unfolded in every direction, visible in the frantic eyes and desperate screams of those caught in the mayhem. A blinding flash of fire erupted fiercely, followed by a towering plume of thick gray smoke spiraling straight into the sky, spreading rapidly like a raging storm, swallowing the entire night sky whole. Debris scattered wildly, flashing lights flickering like lightning in the darkness, creating a scene both hauntingly beautiful and terrifying. The roar of the explosion echoed relentlessly in their ears, making hearts race, while the atmosphere thickened with tension and dread. A massive explosion occurred right on the street, shaking the entire area and bringing traffic to a complete standstill. Thick black smoke billowed into the sky, engulfing the surrounding area. In response, numerous police vehicles and fire trucks rushed to the scene, quickly sealing off the area and launching rescue and firefighting operations. The atmosphere turned tense and chaotic, leaving nearby residents in a state of shock and fear. A docked boat suddenly exploded with tremendous force, the blast powerful enough to blow off the upper structure of the vessel. Flames erupted immediately after the explosion, prompting a nearby man to flee the scene in panic. Fire erupts right on the tarmac. A ground service vehicle at Montreal's Pierre Elliott Trudeau International Airport suddenly burst into flames, with fire engulfing the entire vehicle. Thick black smoke rose into the sky, alarming airport staff and nearby passengers. Emergency crews responded quickly. The house was engulfed in flames, fiery tongues consuming its walls. Suddenly, a loud explosion shattered the air, blowing off the roof as fire and smoke swallowed the surrounding area. Police and firefighters fought desperately to contain the raging blaze, trying to prevent further devastation.
I fucking told them.
Yeah.
I fucking told you guys.
Yeah. I yelled at them too, man.
A massive explosion followed by a large-scale fire broke out at an industrial site in Kidderminster. Flames soared high into the air, spreading uncontrollably, while thick black smoke billowed across the area, carried far by the wind. A massive fire broke out violently and was quickly followed by a powerful explosion that shook the entire area. Nearby vehicles scrambled to flee the scene, overwhelmed by the blast's intense shockwave. The atmosphere turned tense and dangerous. An ammunition depot was hit by a series of intense secondary attacks, triggering massive fires and multiple violent explosions. The area shook under the force of the blast as flames engulfed the facility, sending thick black smoke billowing into the air. The destruction was extensive, leaving the entire site in chaos and devastation.
На Киржач закрыли дорогу.
Дальше, буквально километра полтора-два.